you represent one of the country's foremost corporations, a company which is truly one of India's first true multinationals in that sense. What do you think Indian industry needs to really do in terms of becoming truly powering that Indian global ambition of, by 2047, where we will be as a developed nation, the Viksit Bharat dream? How do you think corporate India can truly power this? Because so far, even the economic survey mentions that the private sector really needs to come forward and participate in that entire endeavor.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the economy is doing well today. And it is doing well, I think, on one hand, very clearly on account of good purposeful policy interventions. And I think also India Inc. is partnering the growth. The investment as a percentage of GDP, private investment, is higher than pre-COVID levels. The investments are happening, jobs are getting created. There's no doubt about it. Of course, to get to our ambition of Viksit Bharat, I think the strong trajectory needs to continue. The trajectory on livelihood creation needs to get stronger. So these are areas where enterprises as large economic organs of society needs to partner the government in doing so. And and Indian industry is very much vibrant and keen to be a partner. So what is it that Indian industry needs to do? What we are looking for, the path of the growth has to be, as I said earlier, inclusive and sustainable. And that's the kind of model that India Inc. has to look at itself. And the growth has to be aggressive. It has to be a very high level of growth, similar growth rates sustained up to 2047, which is not easy. It's there. So it requires all components of the economy, agriculture, services, manufacturing, large enterprises, small enterprises. I think all of them have to fire. And equally, we not only need to develop capacity to serve Indian markets, but we need to be a bigger player in global markets. We're just 1.8% of global trade. So we need to. So therefore, if we are to achieve this, what is it that India Inc. needs to do? So let me just talk about 3 or 4 quick points quickly. One is, I think it's important for inclusive growth and sustainable growth that this whole idea of stakeholder value is taken as part of the DNA of an organization, is taken as part of the core of corporate strategy. It has to sharply move away from mere simplistic shareholder value. And the strategy has to simultaneously create, and this is something in ITC we've practiced for 2.5 decades, not only economic value, but social capital and environmental capital. And there is no contradiction. As an enterprise, we've become carbon positive, water positive, solid waste recycling positive. And I think we have happy shareholders also. It's not that one has been, compromised for the other. It's not there. So that, I think, element has to find itself. And when we are talking about this whole strategy, we are also saying, in ITC actually we call it responsible competitiveness. And competitiveness at a very extreme level is required. And for that, very clearly, a lot more needs to be done in IP generation, in R&D, because IP and R&D is what will win the future. That is where you can create brands. And brands are what will give you surpluses to share with all stakeholders and to reinvest. So I think dialing up investments in R&D and IP creation, either build it yourself, acquire it, or partner, I think that's very important. The second is extreme competitiveness. And typically we talk of competitiveness at the enterprise level. That's about technology, your systems, your training of people. But I think what is very important is that you are as competitive as your ecosystem, or as less competitive as the weakest link in your ecosystem. So large corporates have to, develop a large and vibrant ecosystem. And there are great examples, like the auto industry. It's a great example. And once you develop a large and vibrant ecosystem, you are developing MSMEs. MSMEs not only for yourself, but you are also creating a vibrant MSME sector in the economy. That's a powerhouse of job creation for partnering the export trades and so on and so forth. In ITC, we work, for example, with 6,000 MSMEs and different ways of supporting them depending on on the needs. And the third, I think, very important for us is to look at the amount of value addition in the economy. We have to, if we continue to import everything and assemble, we are not going to create a lot of value in the economy. Of course, it's a journey, and I'm happy to see in sectors like auto it has progressed. There are many more sectors there's an opportunity. We in ITC do it very consciously, and today over 90% of our value addition actually is in the Indian economy, because we develop our ecosystem. And that has an advantage today in today's world, because my supply chains, value chains become resilient, especially in the disturbed geopolitical situation today. I think these would be, in my mind, 3 or 4 very important things that India Inc. needs to incorporate. And if I was to summarize it, it's really about responsible competitiveness. It's about globalization. These elements would give you opportunity to grow. And the last is about partnerships, because the problems of tomorrow or even today cannot be solved in isolation. You'll have to partner society, governments, other technology providers and create the solution.